Being realistic is really important. Don't really underestimate how difficult something might be. Is it so that I really just achieve success easier than others? So today I gathered 5 tips that I wanted to share with you that will make you succeed in anything that you do. Hello everybody, I'm Kelly. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about a really special topic because I realized that people around me and people that are watching my videos tend to think that I achieve success really easily. For example, when I decided to come to the States for college, I managed to get in a pretty good school, went to Berkeley, and then when I decided to do computer science, I also finished it in 3 years and landed a software engineer job. Then when I decided to do YouTube, I also persevered until now and have you guys following me and watching my videos, which I'm really grateful for. But I thought about it really seriously. Thought that, is it so that I really just achieve success easier than others? And I don't think so. I think there are certain traits or habits and tips that make people succeed easier. I also observe the successful people around me and see the same pattern. So today I gathered all my experience and from the stories that I heard into 5 tips that I wanted to share with you that will make you succeed in anything that you do. I'm actually really nervous filming this video because I don't want to come off as really arrogant. That is totally not my intention, but I hope that you guys can find these tips helpful. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First thing I think is already a little bit controversial, which is to do things that you're at least a little bit confident in. And by this, you need to first know what your strengths and weaknesses are. I feel like people who are successful know what their strengths are really well and they know how to utilize it. And when it comes to their weaknesses, they avoid showing that. It is important that you choose to do things that tend to lead you to success. If you know that this is something that you're really bad at and there is just no way or it's really unlikely to succeed, then don't choose to do it. By saying this, I don't mean that you can't dream big, you can't aim high, you can't be ambitious and do things that, you know, have like a really slim chance. You can, but I think like while you have like a really big final goal, you need to know what the intermediate steps are. You need to know where you currently are at and what your current skills are, what you currently can achieve. Take it like step by step. Don't just try to like get to the end goal like immediately, because that will often fail. You need to make plans and to achieve the intermediate goals one by one and to know what you can do right now and improve bit by bit. I think that is how the successful people really get to where they are at. It is really just accumulating really small baby steps to improve themselves on the way. Also, I think if you don't choose things that are more likely to succeed, it tends to mess with your priorities. For example, if you right now have like something that is really important that you really need to do, but you choose to do something that, you know, is probably like just dreaming too big or it's just like not really likely to succeed, and you prioritize it, then it will affect other responsibilities that you have. I think it's really important for people to know what they need to do, what their responsibilities are, and outside of that, they are free to do whatever they want, but they can't disregard what their responsibility is and like mess with those priorities. So yeah, I think really just knowing what you're doing before you go into it and choose the things that you are at least a little bit confident in what is going on and what the plan will be will make it easier for you to succeed in what you do. And this leads me to my second point, which is to not be unrealistic. This sounds like I'm like discouraging people again, but I'm really not. By saying don't be unrealistic, this is kind of like restating what I just said, because you need to know like what the reality is. I'll just take a really simple example. When people do college applications, everyone have dream schools, and like right now those like dream schools, a lot of the dream colleges, they are getting like harder and harder to get in. And that's not saying that like people shouldn't apply to them. People should, but they shouldn't put all their time and effort to those dream schools. You can have like a list of dream schools and apply to a couple of them, but if you only apply to dream schools, that will screw you up, right? Because like the chance of getting into a dream school is really slim. If you put too many efforts into those that like really unrealistic goals, and you forget to also put some time to like your match schools, like the schools that are actually more likely to accept you, then you may end up in a really bad state where like your dream schools didn't accept you and the match schools also rejected you because you didn't put like the time and effort that you should have put in, and your application just looks bad. So that's what I said, that like being realistic is really important. Don't really underestimate how difficult something might be. I think this is kind of a mistake that especially people who often succeeded in the past will make, because they tend to think that whatever they do, they will succeed and set like too ambitious goals. So from my viewpoint, I think it is really important to assess how difficult everything is and what your own abilities are. Not saying that you can't improve, but just saying like what your current abilities are, and to really have a realistic view of the whole circumstance. And third tip is to think broader, because it is really easy for people to like stay in their own bubble, a small circle, and just be really used to a kind of mindset or a perspective. Like for myself, I think I make this mistake too. So I think it is really important to really go outside of your comfort zone to see what's going on like around the world, and to see what other people that have like different opinions from you are thinking and what they're saying, and be really open to different voices and know that they exist. Don't just think that like what you think is correct, because the world is so big and there are so many things that you haven't seen before. So I think it is really important to like broaden your horizons and know what's going on. And to do that, I think there is a really important tool that everyone needs to have, which is English. If you like traveling, you want to see what's going on around the world, you want to talk to foreigners, you want to read international newspapers, those will all require English skills. If you clicked on this video, you probably already want to practice your English listening because I'm speaking English, but I'm also going to recommend you a platform to practice your English speaking, which is Engoo. On Engoo, you can schedule private one-on-one lessons with native speakers, not only English, but any language that you choose. And you can schedule it 24 hours. Teachers on Engoo live in different time zones, so if you want to take a lesson at 3 a.m., you can certainly do that, because there will be some teachers that are up in their time zone and be able to teach you. And there are many teachers to choose from. There are certain filters that you can set, and you can see their reviews, their ratings, and they have videos so you can tell their accent and you know where they are from, and you have a description of the teacher. So you can just try out different teachers, or if you find one that you really like, you can schedule like, weekly or bi-weekly lessons with them. And Engoo is really flexible because you can choose to have your camera on or off, like depending on what you're comfortable with. And their UI is really easy to use. You will see like the teaching material on the left, and that is synced with the teacher's side. All the teaching materials are free, and there are like a lot of different topics that you can choose, and you can choose it before this class starts, so the teacher will just jump right into the material if you want. The best thing about Engoo is that you can book just 15 minutes prior to the lesson. That is like really good for people that don't like to make plans, or like plans change last minute. So like right now, if you just have nothing to do and you're like lying in bed, you can book a lesson right now and start the lesson after 15 minutes. Isn't that great? Like you can just like practice English whenever. If it's like 11 p.m. and you're like a little bit tired, but you can still like practice some English, then you can go on Engoo and do a lesson. So if you're interested in trying Engoo out, I have a discount code with them. That's KellyxEngoo. And if you click on the link in the description box and sign up for an account, you will get 1 free lesson. And by using the discount code, you will get 1 more premium lesson. So moving on to the 4th tip. This one I think is probably the most important one, which is perseverance. When you decide to do something, you really need to do it well, or just don't do it. In Chinese we say like 3天打鱼2天晒网, or like 半途而废. I think those are like the really bad mindsets that just leads to failure. For me, before I decide to do something, I kind of have like a plan for it. It doesn't have to be a really detailed plan, but I know what I'm going into. And if I decide to do it, I persevere. I want to do it well. I don't want to be like, I do it for like a certain amount of time and then I don't care about it, and and then I come back to it, because that just won't lead to success. So take a really obvious example, which is my YouTube. I have a full-time job, so that means I don't have that much time like dedicated to YouTube. But the reason why, and the only reason why I persevered until now, is because once I start something, I really want to do it well. So I don't want YouTube to just be something that, I hop on once in a while and just, update some videos and then like disappear. I don't want my platform to be like that. So that's kind of just part of my personality, but I think that's also a really helpful trait, like whenever you try to start something or try to achieve something. I think every successful person, they go through a phase where it's like really difficult, especially in the beginning. So a really important thing is just like persevere through and like pull through that phase, and then you will see that your efforts do pay off. First, you need to like put in the hard work and don't give up easily. But something to note is that I'm not saying that you just blindly put in all of your efforts into something. You also need to like adjust along the way. If you see like something is not going well, something is wrong, you need to like root cause it and try to adjust. You should know, again, your priorities. If like something is really not going well, then you need to know when to like, break off and just stop doing it. So first thing is like, before you go into it, have a clear plan, a good mindset that you are going to persevere through this, or else just don't do it. And once you start doing it, try to observe what's going on and make adjustments according to that. Fifth tip, I think, is something that people often ignore, which is to prioritize your mental and physical health. I think people remember to take care of their physical health because that's like more obvious, but mental health, I think that is so important. For people that even are like really workaholic, I think it's important to have a work-life balance, or else you get like burnt out really easily, and it's hard to recover from a burnout. So it's just better that you avoid it in the first place. For example, for me, I also set a time where like I do my full-time job. For example, if it's like 9 to 6, and then if I do YouTube 9 to 10, then after 10 is my free time. Like I get to do whatever I want. And I think it's really important to have something outside of work to do. Like you have your own passion, have your own interests, and have things that you want to try out. That really motivates you to keep moving forward and be just, optimistic about life. If your life is all about work and all about, things that you don't really like, then you will have no motivation to work hard. So no matter how busy you are, try to like set some rest time for yourself. It can be like one day in a week or a couple hours in a day, but just don't try to overwork yourself. That like really drains your mental health and your physical health. For mental health, I know a lot of people, do meditation, helps their mind relax, or people go exercising, or you can journal. I think that is a good way of like reflecting what's been going on and what's been on your mind, or even going to therapy. I think it's totally fine for someone that does not have any mental illness to do therapy, because it's a really nice way to like convey your thoughts. To talk to someone really just relieves some of the stress. So yeah, these are a couple ways that you can try out if you're kind of like struggling to have a balance between like work and life or your mental health. So yeah, those are the 5 tips that will make you succeed in anything that you do. I hope you find those tips helpful. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye! Choco just sleeping. So cute. Choco.